The Sagrada Familia, or the Temple Expiatorio de la Sagrada Familia, the expiatory church of the Holy Family, is an unfinished Roman Catholic church in Barcelona, Spain. At the moment, because it is unfinished, it's considered a minor basilica. It was designed by the Catalan architect Antonio Gaudí, and the construction actually started in 1882, but the first architect resigned in 1883, and Gaudí took over as the chief architect. He then started to transform it more into something of his own style, combining Gothic and a lot of Art Nouveau forms. He actually devoted the rest of his life to the project and is buried in the crypt. Only about 25% of the project was done when he was run down by a tram. The church was totally funded by private donations. During its construction, it was interrupted by the Spanish Civil War. In 1936, revolutionaries set fire to the crypt and broke their way into the workshop, partially destroying the original plans and the drawings and a lot of the plaster models. It took almost 16 years of work to piece together all of the fragments of the models. Construction actually didn't start again until the 50s. Gaudí knew that he was never going to see the completion of this particular project, and he once commented, "My client is not in a hurry," in reference to the church. There was actually a lot to see here, and the thing about it, and again, this is just my take, there is such a large number of designs in this church that you're not really even sure where to look and what you're seeing. A tour guide can give you all the facts and figures and design plans, and they can name all of the architects, but after a while, the things you see are just so immense and so bright that you just go numb and your eyes take over. The one thing you do walk away from with this is its enormity. Architects like to think of themselves as artists, and every architect wants to put their particular touches on a project. And although all of the architects followed the central plans for the church, they've all added a little bit of their own touches here and there. And that's part of what makes it difficult to actually look at this church. So you have to just scan it, take it in, and then just you decide on your own whether you like it or not. But in a way, it really doesn't matter because it is what it is. In 2011, an arsonist started a small fire in the sacristy, which forced the evacuation of tourists and the construction workers. The sacristy was damaged, and the fire took about 45 minutes to contain. One of the things you can't miss, whether you are inside or outside, is the combination of nature and light. Although currently it is planned to be completed in 2026, that date is actually sooner than they probably initially thought, because now they have more construction equipment, better computer design, and different materials than when these plans were initially drawn. However, at 2026, there is a very good chance that no one from my generation will see the completion of this church, except maybe for Keith Richards. When you walk around the front of the church, you see the type of sculptures and statues that you grow accustomed to seeing, but then when you go out the back door, and that's providing that the door I went out of was the back door, you begin to see the more modern sort of cubic designs. You have to decide whether you like that or not. That in itself is actually part of the amazement of this project. Each person has to decide for themselves whether this structure was one of piety, vanity, or insanity.